They assumed I would bend, stay quiet, let them take what they wanted without protest. But they had forgotten that patience is a weapon. And as I stood in my childhood home's dining room, listening to my father announce casually over dinner that my design studio in the converted garage would now become my stepmother's yoga space, his tone dismissive, casual, as if asking me to pass the salt, I felt that familiar calm wash over me, cold, calculating, because 3 years ago I would have packed my tools, cleared the space, apologized for my presence, and tried to please them. But now I knew the rules. I had documented every improvement I had made: drywall, insulation, electrical work, built-in shelving, lighting, soundproofing panels, every receipt, permit, and contract meticulously logged, photographs of every angle, every detail, cataloged and time-stamped. And as I looked across the table at my stepmother's satisfied smirk, my father's self-satisfied nod, and my brother quietly observing, I allowed a small smile of control to touch my lips, knowing that this time I would not be erased, that this time I would reclaim what was rightfully mine. And that night I stayed in the office, examining every record, cross-checking permits, confirming contractor license numbers, calculating the total value of my unpaid labor, $47,000, and drafting the steps I would take, calm as a strategist plotting a siege. And the next morning I began the slow, deliberate clearing, photographing every item removed, documenting each step, leaving nothing ambiguous. And I made sure they saw me from the kitchen window curtains, moving slightly, as if signaling my methodical progress, taking my time, so that each observation, each motion reinforced my presence, my awareness, my patience. And when the evening came, the space was empty except for the permanent improvements that couldn't be removed. And at dinner I stated simply, all done. It's yours now, my voice steady, my expression calm, watching their faces tighten with surprise. My stepmother already thinking of paint colors and placements, my father nodding, thinking the victory complete. And I allowed them that illusion, because the real power was yet to be revealed. And within a week, I filed a mechanic's lien against the property for the full value of improvements, sending copies to my father and stepmother, with every document, every receipt, every permit attached, legal proof of my right to be compensated or reclaim the space. And then I contacted a real estate attorney, had the lien reviewed, and was prepared with a formal airtight case, presenting them with 3 options: pay the full amount, negotiate a settlement, or legally cede the space to me as a separate subdivided unit, which would involve costly modifications, permitting, and legal fees. And they chose to settle for $30,000, plus a legally binding right of first refusal should they ever attempt to reclaim the space for non-residential use. And I watched them sign the paperwork, silent, defeated, unable to argue, no casual gestures, no smugness, only the quiet comprehension that I had won, without confrontation, without anger, only preparation, precision, and patience. And I deposited the settlement the next morning, using part for a down payment on a small commercial studio space of my own, investing the remainder into accounts my father had never known about. And as I reflected, I realized the yoga studio lasted 6 months before closing, leaving the converted garage empty, a silent monument to their entitlement and my quiet triumph. And I understood that true revenge is not explosive, not loud. It is meticulous, calm, and deliberate. That some victories are won in silence, through foresight and documentation, that those who assume you will bend, who underestimate your resolve, are always caught unprepared when you finally act, and as I walked through my new studio, breathing in the scent of fresh paint and potential, I felt freedom, clarity, and satisfaction, knowing that every hour, every dollar, every ounce of effort I had poured into that space had been acknowledged, compensated, and protected, that I had transformed their casual entitlement into a legally binding acknowledgement of my work, my skill, my autonomy, and that the quiet patient prepared always rise in the end, because real power is invisible until it is exercised, and I had exercised mine flawlessly, leaving them with nothing but the memory of their assumptions, the echo of entitlement, and the unshakable fact that I finally had won.